When I was 9 years old, I lived with my mom and my little sister in a small, one-story house at the edge of a quiet town. It wasn't the kind of place people locked their doors during the day. Kids rode their bikes until the streetlights came on, and neighbors waved to each other without really knowing names. From the outside, our house looked like any other. White siding, a narrow front porch, a yard that never quite grew grass evenly. My mom liked to say the house had character. She said that was a nicer way of saying it was old. Old houses creak, old houses settle, old houses make noises. But even then, I knew some sounds didn't belong to a house. My bedroom was at the end of the hall, across from my sister's. It was small and always felt darker than the rest of the house, even during the day. At night, it felt like the shadows collected there. I slept with glow-in-the-dark stars stuck to the ceiling, little plastic dots that gave off a weak green glow once the lights were off. I used to stare at them until my eyes got heavy. One night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there watching the shadows on the walls shift as the trees outside swayed in the wind. I remember telling myself stories in my head, pretending the shadows were animals or shapes I could control. That usually worked, until I noticed one shadow wasn't moving. It sat low in the corner of my room, near my toy chest. At first I thought it was just a pile of clothes I'd left there, or one of my stuffed animals slumped over. I told myself I was being stupid, but the longer I looked at it, the more wrong it felt. The other shadows moved. This one didn't. I blinked, and it was gone. The room felt suddenly cold, not like the air had changed, but like something had passed through me. I pulled my blanket up over my head and squeezed my eyes shut until I fell asleep. The next morning I forgot about it. Kids are good at that. Until I saw my toy chest. It was open. I never left it open. My mom was strict about that because toys spilled everywhere, and she hated clutter. I stood there for a long time, staring at it, then closed it quietly and went about my day without saying anything. A few weeks later my little sister said something that made my stomach drop. We were eating dinner when she said very casually, "I don't like the man in my closet." My mom laughed and said little kids imagine things, but my sister didn't laugh. She just stared down at her plate and said he stood there at night and whispered. She said she couldn't hear what he said, only that he talked. That night my mom sat with her until she fell asleep and said a prayer, but she didn't open the closet door. Not once. Later that night, I woke up to a sound that didn't belong. It sounded like something being dragged slowly across the floor. Not footsteps, not a creak, more like fingernails scraping wood. I stayed perfectly still, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would give me away. The sound moved closer until it stopped right beside my bed. I was sure that if I leaned over and looked, I would see something staring back at me. So I didn't move. The next morning, there were scratches on the floor, long thin lines carved into the wood right next to my bed. They looked fresh. I ran to show my mom. She got angry. She said I must have dragged something sharp or played with tools.
I swore I hadn't.
She didn't believe me.
After that, the nights got worse. Sometimes I heard whispering, faint and low, like a radio playing in another room. It always came from my closet. Sometimes my sister cried in the middle of the night, pointing into corners and saying, "He's there."
I never saw him, but I felt him. The worst night came in winter. I woke up and realized my bedroom door was open, even though I always closed it. The hallway light was on, casting a thin line across the floor. Then, slowly, the hallway light went out. Footsteps followed. They stopped right outside my room. The door creaked open just enough for something tall and dark to lean inside. I squeezed my eyes shut and pretended to sleep. When I opened them again, the door was closed. In the morning, my mom said she never got up. That was when she finally believed us. She lit candles and prayed in every room. Things were quiet for a while. Then one afternoon I came home from school to an empty house. I sat on the couch doing homework when I heard my toy chest slam shut. I walked down the hall slowly. My bedroom door was open. Every toy I owned was scattered across the floor. We moved not long after. Years passed. But the sound of nails dragging across wood still comes back to me in quiet moments. When I was 10, my mom remarried, and we moved into a newer house. Bigger, cleaner, safer, supposedly. My bedroom was at the end of the hall again. This one had 2 big windows facing the backyard, and a deep closet. The first night, I heard shuffling inside it. Then the door shivered, like someone pressing on it from the inside. The next morning, it was cracked open. Soon came the tapping at the window. Not branches, a hand, pale, pressed flat against the glass. The window was on the second floor. Then my little brother started talking about the white lady. He said she sat on his bed. He said her eyes were black. I started dreaming about her too. One night, during a storm, I watched my window unlock itself. She floated inside. Her face leaned close. She whispered my name. I screamed. When the lights came on, she was gone. They called it night terrors. We lived there 3 more years. I never felt safe. Even now, storms make my chest tighten. And then, there was the man on the driveway. I was 8. I rode my bike every day. There was a house down the block with a long driveway. An old man stood there most afternoons wearing a hat. He waved. He said my name. He knew things about me I never told him. He said one day we'd race. Then one day, he was gone. A woman told me he had died the year before. She showed me his picture. The scar didn't match. That night, I heard my name called outside my window. I never crossed that street again. Years later, I drove past. The driveway was empty. Sometimes I wonder if he's still standing somewhere, waiting for a child to wave back. Some memories don't fade, they wait.